Hey there, and welcome to Real Brides. This is the podcast where we sit down with recently married brides to talk all things wedding, with real advice from brides who have been there, done that, and want to help you do it better. I'm Rosana with Shotwell Productions, New Jersey's highest rated photography and videography company. Let's dive in. Hi, Kara. Thank you so much for being on our podcast today. This is like such a good opportunity for us to catch up again, to see your face and to talk about your wedding. You guys got married at Bear Brook Valley in July, which, you know, most people in New Jersey in July avoid, like crazy avoid. It is so hot, so muggy, like all of the things. And you guys decided to have everything at the venue. So you guys got ready there. You opted to do all the first looks, every single one. And you had your ceremony there in, was it the barn?
Yeah, it was the barn. Yeah.
In the barn, which I haven't had the privilege of shooting in the barn, but our shooter, Anne, who you guys are still friends, I love that, got to do that. And then the reception and things like that. So there was just a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about in your wedding, like why you decided these things, like where did all this come from and things like that. So thank you for being on our podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. So when I was looking at your photos, what really stuck out to me was like all the details that you guys had, like everything that I think that I've ever seen details wise, you guys had. You had like a second pair of shoes,
Yes.
which I'm 100% for. Like you had some pretty sensible shoes that had like a bigger heel.
Right. Then it was sneaker time.
Yeah. And they were like the cutest sneakers too. They were all lace.
Yes. And I wore them throughout different events during my bride era, which was like super fun.
Bride era. I love that. And then like you had like for all the groomsmen, including the groom, you had custom cufflinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My husband, he's been in many weddings, was a best man 4 times.
Wow.
So we're kind of like had to be creative because he had gotten all the gifts already. So we were like, what haven't you gotten, and what would be a nice gift for your guy? So that ended up being a really nice.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
And then even with the girls, like you had all these custom, not tumblers, but like drink cups, right?
Yeah. I was like, what would be like something you would actually use after? So I wanted to make it practical, and I got them robes, and then I had their hair and makeup done as like my thank you for all that they had done throughout.
That's really nice because that can be like a huge expense for bridesmaids.
Yeah, and just, I wanted them to enjoy the day as well, because that's half the fun at Bear Brook, is being in the silo suite and feeling like a princess for the day, and just kind of getting to relax and get glam.
That's true. And I'm glad you mention it because yeah, that bridal suite is literally in a silo. So you do feel like you're in a tower.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
And it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a photographer, like the lighting in there is really, really good. Their bridal attendant is super attentive. The food is really good.
Too good. And you think about how much time you spend on your wedding day, it's more that time. So that was a huge selling point for us, for sure, with choosing Bear Brook.
That's nice. And I know there was like a quick little moment with the dads. It looked like your dad kind of had the moment, and then Mozart's dad kind of came in.
We're walking out to do the first look, which we had to go down through past where I guess they took Mozart outside already, but all the guys were still hanging out. So Anne captured that actual moment that, that was his natural reaction. Wasn't a proper like, and now turn or open the door. We just, and she clicked away. It was really great.
Yeah, sometimes magic just like unfolds, and it's nice to have like a good photographer there that can read it.
Oh yeah, totally.
And you had videography. You had Pill as well.
It was wonderful and so fun, and just that's what I love. what I liked about Shotwell was, from what I saw online, was just like really capturing the feeling of the room. I'm like, I'm not a celebrity or influencer. I just want to remember what it was like to be there. And I feel like I look back on everything like, oh wow. I get that feeling again, which is so nice.
And I get that feeling, and I wasn't even there. I'm not the one that shot it. It was like one of my team members, and I'm looking at the photos and I'm like, there were so many sweet moments here.
Yeah.
And like your guests are absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah. I'm like, wow, we really, and I do feel like a summer wedding is nice because people, I think, just dress like colorful and like the sun shines in a way. It was just, everyone was beaming.
So that's a nice lead into my next question. Like, most people do not get married in July. It is hot AF, and
Mhm.
the humidity is like 1,000% in New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
So, like, why did you pick July?
So it's kind of a little bit of a story, but I'm a teacher, and so that kind of narrowed in on working around breaks and my time off. And so we got engaged in December of 2021, which was, or November, which was still very much COVID planning, which I feel like dictated a lot of like the decisions we made, which all worked out. But I talk to brides now and I feel like it's almost like a different time.
Oh, yeah, that was like 15 years ago, it feels like.
Yeah. So they had um, some July dates open. I knew I didn't want to get married in the midst of the school year. I just knew myself. I wanted to like have some time off or be able to take off. And so we toured other places, but just not, I had already set it up in my mind. And so we talked about July. And so we ended up settling on Friday, July 14th. And Bear Brook was so lovely. I get like, they are such, I want everyone I know to get married there. It's like the best team. They're such professionals and artists and make the guest experience so wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their
So,
cocktail hour.
yeah. Oh, yeah. But, and that was what was nice, why I loved it, for any season, was the options with,
Yeah, I do have to say that like Bear Brook Valley does have beautiful outdoor areas. Like you can
yeah.
get married outside over the lake. That's an option. And then they have like the covered barn. But they also have like the bridge and like you said, the mini vineyard. And then they have the silo. So there's a lot of places to take photos
Oh, yeah.
outside, but also inside as well.
Yeah. That was always, I knew I couldn't be a bride that was like banking on an outdoor wedding. I just, knew I was like, whatever happens, happens. And the weather was wild the day of our wedding. It was, yeah, that's also another funny story. Um,
That's the one thing we can't control is the weather.
I woke up to thunderstorms and I said, okay, we're going to have our rainy wedding. Like, I'm great. We got cute umbrellas um, and then it kind of cleared up, but it was humid, muggy, thick, and they were setting up the pond area. I was like, okay, maybe we'll have our beautiful outdoor wedding. And then the florist came. We used Thistle and Bee, which they're the best.
Yeah.
And she came and she said, we're watching the Doppler. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're and the bridal attendants also watch, they're like,
Oh, yeah.
and so they were like, right now it looks like at 5 o'clock it's going to be clear. And I was like, okay. She was like, well, we'll set everything else up first and then we'll make the decision on the um, ceremony space last. And usually, they said by, I think you have, originally she said by noon you have to tell them, but because of this they were like, we'll come check back in.
Yeah.
So they come and they're like, it's now saying rain, thunderstorms at like 5:20. And I was like, well, we're not going to have a long ceremony, and I was like, what does Mozart think? And then they went and asked him, and he was like, I don't know, whatever Kara thinks. Like, I'm happy. And I was like, we're the most indecisive people. Let's do it in the barn, which was beautiful and it really intimate. The energy just felt like so just a feeling I've never had before. Never rained through the ceremony, so we could have had it outside.
Totally could have, but it was really hot.
But it was hot. But yeah, and so and then we went up. They said we were one of the first to do this. We went up to the silo to like have our private cocktail hour, but then we went on the balcony and watched like everyone walk, and that was so fun. I felt like a Disney princess waving from the with my Prince Charming. But as soon as everyone came in, it was thunder, lightning, torrent. I think it hailed. It was like
Oh
for
yeah.
like at least an hour and a half. So we like just got everyone inside. And then there was a beautiful rainbow and it cleared up. And then we went to take our last photos. Anne and Pill took us outside but then it started to rain and we danced in the rain and you could hear. So I look back and I don't have, any sad feelings about it. It created some great moments, but I was like, wow.
And you know what? It was towards the end of the night, so of course you could dance in the rain.
Yeah, it was, and I think they got a video with the lightning in the background. It was great.
That's kind of romantic. I mean, you definitely got all of the weather of New Jersey.
Oh yeah, it was, and I'm so grateful I did like a big pony, because I knew I couldn't have all the hair, like just knowing myself. But I was like, oh, that was the best decision because I would have been frizzy and hot, and it was just all slicked back and ready to take on whatever Mother Nature was bringing today.
I love it because I feel like here us at Shotwell Productions, like we love teachers.
Yeah,
Absolutely adore teachers. Like you guys are our ideal client because you're very intelligent, right? You're highly organized. You have to be a teacher. And
yes,
but then you're also very flexible, which a lot of people aren't. Like they're not as go
yeah,
with the flow when like things don't go exactly the way that they want to. And it can kind of like be a huge obstacle in the day when you're like
right,
everyone's trying to make something work when it's just not meant to work. Um,
totally.
but teachers, you guys plan and plan and plan and plan for everything. And then the day of, you're like, I planned.
Yeah,
It
I was
didn't
like,
go to plan.
we invest in brilliant people and trust their expertise. Like this is time to have fun.
So was there anything like I know Mozart's been in a bunch of weddings. So, was there anything where he was like, no, we absolutely have to have this, or where you were like, no, we cannot, we don't need that?
Um, we knew we didn't need like a lot of the extra details. Like we loved Bear Brook. We loved it Bear Brook Bones. We loved how like the um, dining room looked and just how it's situated in the trees and the vineyard. So we knew we didn't want to add a lot. Um, but as far as, I mean, one thing we still talk about with Shotwell is it was so comfortable with Ann and Pill. Like we've both been in weddings, or more so he just didn't want to feel like it was always constantly like making moments,
Yeah.
it was just kind of like natural and flowed. And that was like really great.
I think that's like now that you've triggered a memory for me because we spoke on the phone
Yeah.
when you first kind of inquired like, hey, are you guys available? Like all that kind of stuff. And I remember Mozart was like, I don't want to be like posed
Yeah.
awkwardly. He's like, I've been in a lot of weddings. I haven't liked all the photographers.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want that. And I remember like being able to say confidently, like, oh no, we won't do that to you.
Yeah, yeah, that was reassuring. I was like, "Oh, you're the bridezilla on this one."
There's something as a groomzilla.
Yeah, but it just you want to be able to enjoy the day as well. We're also not like, but I actually don't love having my photograph taken.
You could have fooled me. You could have fooled me in
I,
those.
I've always hated it, and so I was I was actually glad we did engagement
I
photos.
was just gonna say, like, you decided to do engagement photos, and I think that really helped.
But it was funny because that was when we met Anne. And so if I feel like if we didn't have that day, I would have been like a lot more tense on the day of the wedding. But we did the photos, but then after we ended at a restaurant in Jersey City, and Anne hung out with us for a little. And I was like, oh, I wish we did this first, because then it just felt like, oh, it's just our friend taking photos. It's not, weird. Uh,
Yeah.
but that was like a really nice way to like, because it is an investment and it's the memory you have. I'm so grateful we have all of that and that I
And
like
it's
it.
a nice little preview too, right? Like you kind of don't know if the photographer is going to be able to mesh well with your personalities or your families or like the stress of the day. So an engagement session is a great way to kind of warm up into that.
Totally. Yeah.
And I mean, of course, it helps that Anne is like made of like sunshine and rainbows and unicorns, and like she's like the most charming person you could ever meet.
Hmm.
So yeah, she's really good at making people feel very comfortable.
Yeah. So that was ended up working out really well.
I love that. Now, I do
Hmm.
want to ask you one thing, and this could be just like Bear Brook Valley's decision, or it could have been your decision. I don't know. But I noticed
Hmm.
your reception table settings were set up like farm table style with like 20 or 25 chairs per
Yeah.
long table. And I don't think I've seen that at Bear Brook. Usually it's like they have like separate tables kind of set up in smaller groups. Is that something you decided?
Yeah. Well, they gave us the option. You can make them really long. They do the farm tables, the rectangle. And you could either put two together and make them long or have them as one. So we decided to do mostly like Harry Potter style long. And I feel like some of them were a little smaller, which was nice that they didn't all have to be the same amount. Um, but we have like family, like that was great because we got everybody. We kind of lucked out with, we just did a seating by tables. We didn't do assigned seating. Um, and so people just sat where they want at this long table. And certain friend groups that were bigger, it was nice that everyone could sit together. So they gave us the option.
Yeah, because you also have a lot of friend groups. And
Yeah,
so normally like what we do, and I don't know how other photographers do it, but we like to do like for example, like you guys did a first look and
yeah,
then we did romantic photos with the two of you guys, and then we did family photos and wedding party photos. So you get like the majority, like the bulk of like the formal photos
hmm, yeah,
with the people who were there the whole day. But then sometimes there's people who come later, like really good friends or groups of friends, and you still want to get photos with them. So what we do is after dinner, where there's like that weird lull where some people are still eating and some people are still, like they're done and they're ready to socialize. We do photos, group photos right on the dance floor.
yeah,
You guys had a lot of groups.
yeah. And we planned that out with Anne ahead of time, and it worked out really great. Especially because it was like the first time those certain groups were like seeing each other. It was like we all came back together after COVID, and we a lot of us hadn't like all been together in that way. So that was really fun, and we did a big cousins photo
That
with both sides of our family, which was like so fun.
I always joke that cousins are like the first criminals you ever fell in love with because like cousins get you in trouble with your parents like on a level that no one else ever could.
Right, yeah. And we both have a lot of them. So, and we're both close to them. So it was like so fun to just, I think that's the best part of weddings is just seeing the different people in your lives come together and have fun and just, yeah,
Yeah, and you get a nice photo and
yeah, it was silly.
oh, I love it. I love it. Kira, this has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and seeing your face.
Yeah,
And like so many exciting things are happening in your life now.
yeah.
You've moved, your family is growing.
Growing, yes, expecting 2 years later, so much has changed and we're just, still glowing from that day.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your like just your insight on planning a wedding and all these things, and for agreeing to being on our podcast. It's so good to see you and to hear from you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and good luck to all the brides out there.
I know. Well, you're going to help them a lot. That's like super helpful.
Cool.
Thank you, Carrie. You had
All right.
enjoy.
Thank you. Bye.
This is it for this episode of Real Brides. If you found something helpful, make sure to follow, subscribe, or share it with someone who is planning their I do. We have new episodes every week packed with more real talk from real brides. No filters, just facts. Thanks for listening and happy planning.